Justin Trudeau's reign over Canada has already seen the Liberal leader referred to as a dictator. But in a surprising twist, Trudeau isn't looking too left-leaning after news surfaced this week that a new bill proposed by Charlie Angus, an MP from the opposition NDP party, wants to jail Canadians who speak well of fossil fuels.
Bill C-372 will, quote, provide a legislative response to a national public health and environmental problem of substantial and pressing concerns. The bill will make it illegal for big oil and gas lobby and the gas lobby or their front groups or paid influencers to falsely promote the burning of fossil fuels as a benefit to the public.
The bill would set out a fine of up to $500,000 for individual offenders, but it's even worse for companies that do this. Violating the law could result in 2 years in jail or a fine of $1 million. One Canadian publication has torn the bill apart online.
You're not allowed to say that a fossil fuel is less harmful than other fossil fuels, even if that's true. Natural gas, for instance, is generally cleaner than burning coal or tar. You also can't say that selling or using oil is good for the economy, or that fossil fuel extraction can be beneficial to Indigenous people, which, again, can both be true. But regardless, the bill proposes that if you do any of this, you get up to 2 years in jail or a $1 million fine.
Meanwhile, social media users have ridiculed the idea, with one meme showing a convict being asked, "What are you in for?" The other says, "I said the oil and gas sector was good for the Canadian economy." Trudeau might be breathing a sigh of relief, at least the heat is off him for the moment, but he did make an outrageous gaffe in the Canadian Parliament this week.
Here from the Leader of the Opposition is under the previous Conservative government, everything was perfect, and what he is proposing to do is to make Canada great again. That is not what Canadians want.
They don't want Canada to be great again. What did you make of that, James, that new proposal? Would you be voting that in?
I'm almost speechless at this, right? that bloke has been selected from amongst his peers as a legislator to try and come up with laws on these things. And I think this is the problem, that so much now is being put by legislators into the too difficult box. So the idea about climate change or about how net zero and all these things, they're very big things to actually work out. Probably the answer to this is going to be a mixture of more efficient uses of this stuff and exciting new technologies that are going to make energy clean and cheap and free. And we're going to look back on this in 50 years or 100 years or something and say, what were we so worried about because the fusion reactor or something came along? But of course, me saying that will probably now put me in prison in Canada for even saying this. And so it's doing these sorts of stupid nonsense laws to go and try and police speech and the rest of it, because it gets them some woke points amongst the kind of chatter in classes without bothering to actually address any of the substantial
When it's
problems.
actually completely unlikely that it would ever get passed through, what's the point? Like, if we want to focus on climate change, let's actually start implementing proper things that combat climate change. What did you think about this, Maddie?
It's just unbelievably insane. It's cosmically insane. It's almost too mad for this show, Mad World. You know,
and we didn't think we'd get there.
It's jumped the shark. I'm kind of speechless too. But the thing that gets me is the fact that, you know, that the law is not about actually using fossil fuels. It's kind of understood that we still need to use fossil fuels, that advanced economies depend for their most basic functions on fossil fuels. There's no objection to that, but you're not allowed to say that. So it's the kind of the attempt to kind of legislate against reality when you have lost the argument or you fear you may be losing it, because that is all they have.
Well, it was modelled after the tobacco bill, trying to obviously phase out advertising of cigarettes, which is completely understandable why any government would be wanting to do that. But this was modelled after that, to stop advertisement, to stop promotion of fossil fuels. So it's an interesting kind of contrast that this Charlie Angus wants to follow in the suit of this.
We can take this down the rabbit hole that Karine Jean-Pierre didn't want us to go down any rabbit holes in the previous section. What other things were there that we would try and block? So it's bad that Russia has invaded Ukraine, so we're not going to give any more support to that.
Yes.
But we'll say it's illegal to talk about invading Ukraine, right?
Yeah.
That's the same level
Out of
as
sight,
this
out of
absolute
mind.
rot. Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to work.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
when all the lights stop going on and the generators and the backup generators in hospitals start turning off, you go, oh, maybe we should add some more fossil fuel. Get in prison, you bigot. It's absolutely
And who
ridiculous.
cares about overcrowding?